Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm just laughing at the picture that I just took for the thumbnail. And I decided to come in here a little bit early because I haven't done a live stream on YouTube in a while. So I figured, hey, why not? All right. So first, I'm going to get, we got 3 minutes before I officially need to begin. And it looks like there's a few people filing in now. All right. So I want to make sure you guys can hear me and see me okay. Looks like you can. So if you can tell me, oh, good. Okay. Hi there. I see people commenting. Hi, Jenny Holloway. Hello, Robin. New Beginnings. Jennifer, good to see you. Hey, Misty Moon. Okay, so I'm assuming all is thumbs up. We're just getting acclimated here. If you're watching this in the replay, just fast forward about 3 minutes. Hey, guys. All right, you're telling me everything looks good. Does it sound good? Yep, you can hear me well. Okay, excellent. I'm excited to be here on YouTube doing the live streams here instead of Facebook because the quality is going to be so much better. Let me just fix my microphone here. Yeah, that's the thing with Facebook. They throttle down the quality of the video, and then when you download it to put it on YouTube, it gets even worse. So, oh, good, there's a whole bunch of you in here. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, well, I'm excited that you guys all join me. We're going to talk about, just to give you some idea, today's topic is real citrine versus fake citrine. How to tell the difference, getting well geo-educated on working specifically with this powerful crystal and knowing the difference. I want you to be confident in knowing what's in your collection. This is a big one for me. I'm going to give you some checklists on how to spot a quote unquote fake, and you'll see why I'm calling it quote unquote fake. Is it still Citrine-Energy if you do have a non-genuine citrine? And so just you can make well-informed purchases, right? Don't we all want to make well-informed purchases, especially if you're buying something that's expensive? You want to make sure that you're in the right, you know what you're doing. You're confident in knowing that. It's good to know. If you sell crystals, this is a must know. I'm sorry, I'm going to get up on my soapbox on this. If you are a crystal seller, of which I was one, still am from time to time, you need to take responsibility for what you're putting out there because people are looking to you for information, and be knowledgeable. At least, you don't need to know everything about every single mineral out there, but you need to be active, taking an active approach to continuing education and educating yourself on what you're selling. Okay. All right, get off my soapbox on that. All right, so again, today's topic is my updated real citrine versus fake citrine and how to tell the difference, because I do have old videos out there. We've been talking about this since the beginning of YouTube, and I've been talking on this topic since the very beginning because it seemed like for a while there I was the only one who knew that, in our online metaphysical community. Of course, many other people out there knew. So that you don't get scammed. And you know how to spot a genuine citrine and work with it effectively, okay? So who am I, in case you're new here and you don't know why I showed up in your newsfeed? I'm Hibiscus Moon, or in your YouTube feed. Sorry, need to make that switch. And I'm the founder of the Hibiscus Moon Crystal Academy, where I certify people in becoming crystal healers, and I teach all aspects of working with the crystals. So again, we're going to get well geo-educated on working with this powerful crystal, and you'll have checklists on how to spot a fake and confidently knowing what's in your collection. Is it still Citrine-Energy if you do have a non-genuine citrine? And just so you can make well-informed purchases. Okay. Question of the day. Please go ahead and answer this in the comments below right now. Do you confidently know how to spot genuine citrine? Just yes or no. Yes, no. Okay. And if you're watching this in the replay, please click on the link in the description below. I think even if you're live, you can click on the link in the description below. That's going to take you to my accompanying blog post for all the resources, the descriptive photos. This is kind of interactive. Okay. I wanted this to be interactive, so maybe you can have that open on the side or in a separate window on your smartphone. So descriptive photos, a free handy citrine checklist download, so you can just have that. You don't need to memorize or take notes, and related links. Okay, so that's going to be in the description. All right. So today is actually part 2 on my citrine series. 2 weeks ago, I discussed all the correspondences and the meanings of working with citrine metaphysically. So today it's part 2, real citrine versus fake citrine, and how to tell the difference and why you should care. Do you have citrine in your collection? Then you should care. Do you know if it's the real deal? I need you to know. I need you to know this, okay? And I know I'm going to get flack from people. Most citrine on the market is fake. All right? I'm going to venture to say 90% of the citrine on the market is, I'll reword that, is non-genuine. All right? And the sellers aren't telling you. I don't like to call this one a scam, but it's more of a misrepresentation, right? I'm going to give you the checklist on how to spot a fake, so hang on for that. And are all tumbled citrine fake? That's a big question that I get a lot. And how to purchase knowledgeably. Okay, so in part 1, like I said, we discussed why citrine is a must-have crystal, but today I promised I was going to show you how to tell the real stuff from the misrepresentations or the adulterated versions. So lab heated, or I shouldn't even call it lab heated citrine, because most of the times it can be heated in your oven in your kitchen. Okay. It seems to be a sore spot for many in our community, especially if you're a seller. So much so that over the years, as I received many questions about it, I started on YouTube in 2007 and started like right out of the gate with the whole fake citrine thing. I've created a few videos to talk about the topic over the years. They're old. So this one's going to be the one that trumps them all. Okay. And I've shown you some examples. I've been teaching and debating on this topic a long time. You'll see some of those old debates online. And it's one of the oldest YouTube videos on the topic. It's actually called Is Your Citrine Fake or Natural, Part 1. And then I think I went into Part 2, Part 3. And oh my gosh, the time I used to spend debating on this stuff. Just, hey, if this doesn't vibe with you, fine. Let's just leave it at that and agree to disagree. Okay, but the fact is that 90% of that citrine, I'm not going to give you a fact. I'm going to say most of the citrine on the market is not genuine citrine. Okay, so we all agree on one thing. Crystals are amazing gifts and glorious gifts from Mother Earth, right? I'm sure we can all agree on that. And we all love the beauty of citrine, right? But do you know if your citrine is a real or a fake? Some prefer their crystals to be all natural whenever possible. That's me, okay? It's not always possible. But as they were found in Mother Nature, in the raw, with no augmentation or man alteration. Others might be drawn to the beauty of crystals that have been enhanced in some way, like the aura crystals, right? Those are enhanced crystals, lab treated, quite I would say majorly augmented. Okay, that's like the epitome of lab enhancement is the aura crystals. But these people might be totally unaware that they've been artificially altered, and if they knew, they wouldn't have dabbled with working with that crystal. Or some people notice a major difference between artificially altered and 100% natural, raw in the rough crystals. Maybe the crystals, like I said, might have been irradiated. The aura crystals are molecularly bonded with different metals. Maybe they're altered in a more gentle way, and just that they're cut or polished. Okay, that's a little less. That affects the molecules in a more gentle way, because it's actually not affecting the molecules when you're just cutting or polishing. But if you're heat treating, molecularly bonding, irradiating, things like that, that does molecularly affect the minerals. All right. So like I said, most commercially available citrine on the market is heated. Heated what? Heated amethyst. Okay. They take an amethyst, usually not this kind of an amethyst. This is a very deeply colored amethyst. They wouldn't heat this. A very light colored amethyst. I should have brought one with me. You've seen them. They're barely purple. Okay. So those are considered less aesthetically pleasing. So they will take them and heat them. And in heating them, they get a color like this. All right. And most sellers, unfortunately, don't tell you that up front or without asking. All right. And even when you do ask, I shouldn't say many, but a lot of sellers don't even know that this is the case, that it's heated amethyst. So hopefully, my goal is to educate our crystal community. Okay. And hopefully, through educating our crystal family, we can start to change this. So just to let you know, I want you to know this, it's actually considered acceptable, 100% acceptable by the trade, the geo trade, the mineral trade, the lapidary trade, to call the heat treated amethyst citrine. It's been considered acceptable for years, which is why nobody really knew. Now people are getting more educated about it, and they're getting like, hey, I want to know this up front. I want to know if my gems are heat treated, or if they're baked, or if it's not authentically citrine, that it's really amethyst. See, Mother Earth naturally creates citrine in the same way, all right, within her geothermal heat source from within the Earth's mantle, all right, by heating amethyst, which is just a different type of quartz. Citrine's a type of quartz, rose quartz, clear quartz, smoky quartz. So it will take amethyst or smoky quartz and heat it and naturally turn it into citrine. Okay, here's another one. Mostly the color in a natural citrine, all right, will come from the iron inclusions. Sometimes it comes from aluminum that's being irradiated. So natural citrine can be mined from the Congo. That's where this one comes from Brazil. But so does the baked variety come from Brazil. So don't let that be your indicator. They come from Madagascar and from Russia. Okay. Baked citrine, and it's not really like pulling the wool over anybody's eyes so much, because like I said, this has been something that's been going on for hundreds of years probably, and it's just been accepted. And most of us unknowledgeable buyers aren't privy to this information. We don't know it because it's not considered something that people should be telling, that sellers should be telling the community. But now buyers are becoming more informed about everything, and we want to know. All right. Would you say that's the case? We want to know. So now baked citrine seems to be a sore spot with lots of people. Since I started on my YouTube channel, like I said, I've got all these videos and things because I've been trying for a long time to straighten the situation out. And I think the word has gotten out now. I think a lot of people know, but still I run into people that are like, what? I didn't know that. Okay. So sometimes when people find out that a lot of the citrine on the market isn't an authentic Mama Earth creation, they go into a little bit of a panic mode, thinking that they've been duped and they've collected all this citrine and now it's all fake. And so, I'm trying to circumvent all of that by continually educating our community. So why do they do this? Why do they bake the amethyst into citrine? It's always the same answer I'm giving you guys: supply and demand. Supply on real citrine, on authentic, genuine, real citrine, is very low. If you've gone to a gem show, which is my number one recommended spot to go to, because I know that's the next question from all of you. So where do we get real citrine? Go to a gem show. But the first thing you're going to run into is it's really hard to find real citrine. And don't just ask for real citrine. You need to go in with the specific kinds of citrine, like I want Congo citrine. I want a natural Brazil citrine. Say it like that, because if you just say real citrine, they'll show you this. They'll go, here you go. Okay, and this is the baked variety. So demand for these pretty sparkly orange crystals and geodes is high. It's real high. You see the gem shows, the big geodes that are there, and they're orange and they're gorgeous. I mean, this is gorgeous. There's no denying that. So it's a high demand, and supply on the real stuff is low. Or a seller can take a poorly colored grayish amethyst that they know they're not going to get any money for, or very little money for, and greatly increase its value by magically turning it into citrine. Okay, all types of natural citrine are considered rare. They're nowhere near as bountiful or abundant as amethyst, so they can be hard to find. And because of that, a bit pricey. So be prepared for that. All right. So, how do they do it exactly? Well, if you went to the link in my description, like I said, this is interactive, so you can jump over there and jump back over here. There's a picture of what we did with my students. And when we bake citrine, we're simply just mimicking the action that the earth does. You usually begin with that poorly or light colored Brazilian amethyst. You heat it in a kiln or even your kitchen oven. If you can get it to over 900 degrees Fahrenheit, in Celsius, that's about 480 Celsius. If you want it to go dark yellow or to the red brown, this is also known as Madeira citrine, then you take it up to between 1,040 degrees Fahrenheit, or that's 550 to 560 degrees Celsius. Okay, the longer they heat it, the darker it gets. But the longer you heat it, the weaker the molecular bonds get. So keep that in mind. Some smoky quartz can turn citrine color as it cools at 390 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 200 degrees Celsius. And it's got that, the darker it gets that really deep, rich iced tea color. But the one thing you'll notice with these baked variety of citrine is they're very brittle. We call that friable. Okay. Like I said, on that blog post, which is the accompanying blog post to this video, it's in the description. Just click on it and you'll see. I had some of my students do an experiment, and they took some amethyst and put it in their own oven and put their home oven in the kitchen on the highest setting possible, and they turned it into citrine. Voila. So you'll actually see Crystal family member Shayla's experiment, and she showed us how it's done. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about tumbled citrine, give you a checklist on baked versus real genuine citrine. And by the way, you can download that checklist on that link that I gave you in the description there, right below this video, the description. And then how to work with Congo or Brazilian citrine, or how to know the difference between those two. And is it still Citrine-Energy if it's actually baked amethyst? And we'll do some Q&A. Oops, sorry about that. We'll do some Q&A at the end too. Okay, how's that sound? I'm just going to drink some water here. I got my new tumbler, but this looks a little blue to me. It doesn't look purple. It's supposed to be purple. So I'm going to have to find out what's up with that. Okay. So if you like this topic, by the way, or if you've ever looked at a crystal and thought, is this the real deal or is this just a fake? God, I wish I knew. How can I tell? Because you can't just show people. I see a lot of people do this in Facebook groups, showing people pictures and trying to ID by photos. Photo IDing of a mineral, let me say this, I'm shouting it from the rooftops, is the least reliable method of identifying a mineral. Okay, so stop it. Stop doing that. So if, by the way, what I was saying, let me get back, train back on the rails. So if this topic is something you want to know about, you want my geology teaching and guidance on becoming more crystal savvy, you might want to take a look at my Crystal Savvy class elective. You don't have to be in my Certified Crystal Healer course. Anybody can take Crystal Savvy. It's on my website. Go to hibiscusmoon.com, then go to Learn, and then go to Crystal Classes, and you'll see Crystal Savvy. You probably would enjoy that class. If you're a crystal seller, you definitely need to take that class. I'm going to say it straight up. All right. So if you're watching this in the replay, please click on the link in the description below. And I think if you're live, you can go on that link right now. And that's going to take you to the accompanying blog post for the resources, the links, the handy checklist download, free checklist, so you don't have to write it down while I'm talking about it, and the descriptive photos, okay, that go along with this video. Okay, so is all tumbled citrine fake? Okay, so we're going to use logic here, all right? So with the tumbled stones, it's much harder to figure out, is that a baked citrine? Is that a natural citrine? All right, we're going to get into the checklist and the differences. You definitely aren't going, I shouldn't say definitely. All right, let's say this natural citrine grew in a big point and somehow it broke up into a bunch of little pieces. Someone might take those little pieces and tumble them and sell them as natural Congo citrine tumblies. Okay. But you're certainly not going to get pounds of them. Like if anybody sells crystals, you know, when you go buy your tumbled stones, they sell them in pounds, right? So you have huge drums of tumbled stones and they section those off into pound bags and they sell them to the wholesalers like that, or 5-pound bags. Think of this logically, guys. How many times do you think, okay, if they find natural citrine, whether it's from, this is from Brazil, by the way, whether it's from Brazil or it's from the Congo, and they find it in enough mass where that mass is totally messed up, they're not beautiful points, okay, so we're going to tumble them. Maybe they'll get, I don't know, in a large quantity, 20 of these, but they're not going to sell them in pounds. There's not going to be enough. If you have natural citrine, you're not going to tumble it because you're greatly going to reduce the value of it. But you might get some off-color amethyst, grayish amethyst, light-colored amethyst, tumble it, bake it. Now, voila, you have pounds and pounds of tumbled citrine. So I'm going to venture to say, and let's just use our logic here, I'm venturing to say 98% of the tumbled citrine on the market is the baked variety. Do you agree or disagree with that? Okay. I really don't think you're going to find them in tumbled stones. If someone's telling you that they have natural Congo citrine tumbled stones and they're selling them wholesale and they've got pounds of them, just turn and walk the other way. Because if you had real natural Congo citrine, which is so expensive, right? We talked about why would you tumble it? Let's use our common sense. All right. If they're all beat up and they're messed up, if they're all screwy looking, you're still going to get a lot of money for them. All right. I should have brought all my Congo citrines out here today, but you saw them in the last video, so I didn't. If they've been tossed down the mountain, people will still sell them in their natural state because they're worth a lot and they're not going to break them up and tumble them. So someone who has natural citrine and knowing its value is highly unlikely to tumble it in mass quantities and turn it into tumbled stones. Okay. All right. So how to tell the difference? I know that's what you guys are waiting for here. All right. So as we've discussed, it's not always an easy task to tell the difference, but here are some pointers. And if you want this in a handy checklist, go to the link in my description, click on it, bam. There's your handy dandy checklist. You subscribe to my newsletter and you'll get your checklist. All right, but I'm going to go through the list here. All right, so the heat-treated citrine has a deep golden to burnt orange. All right, I got to get it because this is bothering me. I got to get it. Hang on 1 second, please. Okay. Yeah, we'll just use this one. Because this one, I feel like it even shows it even more. All right, so the deep burnt orange, dark iced tea color in contrast with the white right below it. Does this look familiar to you? All right. They're often sold as geodes, drues. Sometimes they get large points. Those are in the other room, so I can't grab it for you right now. And the large points kind of look like a tooth, been plucked. The large points come from the larger geodes like this, and they plucked them from the larger geode, or they fell out while they were cutting the larger geode. And they have this characteristic shape, which I show you in the blog post that I hope you guys are looking at right now. That's linked right below this video in the description. Okay, it has this characteristic pointy top and white bottom. All right, the color is concentrated at the crystal apexes and white at the base. Okay, like I talked about before, they're very brittle and friable, so sort of crumbly, and they easily break apart. Like some of these points might just fall off. I've had this one a long time, so I think a lot of the fringe points already fell off, especially when you have the little points on a geode. And that's the direct result of the high temperatures that they use in the oven. It weakens the stability of the crystal matrix at the molecular level. So it does change the crystal on a molecular level. All right. Also, obviously, the price point on these little ones is lower. Okay. Now, when you get into the big geodes, like the size of my amethyst one here, price point isn't a factor because they're just expensive because they're heavy to move and there's work involved with them. Okay. So that's your heat treated citrine checklist. All right. The natural citrines. And okay. So this one's from Brazil. These two are Congo. All right. So you see, they're very different in the way that they look. They don't look anything like the heat treated. Okay. The colors can vary from a very pale yellow, champagne kind of white wine color, to a dark yellow bordering on smoky. All right. And then looking like iced tea in between. All right. So they're a lot less vibrant than the heat treated kind of citrine. And you don't find the natural citrine as geodes, but with a distinctive single crystal growth formation. And a lot of times the Congo citrines have all these abundance crystals or baby crystals, also known as artichoke kind of a look around the base. All right. A lot of times the Congo citrine will have a lot of hematite around the base too, from where it's been plucked from the rock matrix. All right. The color is pretty uniform throughout the crystal. You don't see it concentrated at the apex and getting lighter and lighter at the base. It's uniform throughout the crystal. And again, the price point. Congo citrines are expensive. Even if it's a Brazil citrine, it's going to be more expensive because it's natural. All right. So if you like having tips on how to tell the fakes, I have a whole free ebook on telling your crystal fakes from others. How do we find that one now? I should have added it. Okay, I'll add it. I'm going to make myself a note. I'm going to add it to that blog post later. And if you want to get it, just go to Google and type in Hibiscus Moon Crystal Fakes Reference Ebook. It's free. You subscribe to my newsletter, but then you get that for free. Okay, so it's a whole listing of all kinds of crystal fakes. All right, so Congo or Brazil, let's talk about that. So there's Congo and Brazil natural citrine. Those are the two most popular places where the natural real citrine comes from. I discussed the other places, but this is where most of the natural real deal where you're going to find it. But there's not a lot, even from Congo or Brazil. All natural Brazil citrine is a really great crystal to pick up. Plus, it's a little less expensive than the Congo citrine. But the Brazil citrine, here's the problem. Here's the con. It's hard to identify from the fake. If you have a trusted source who knows exactly where and how it was mined, that will be your best bet. But I'm here to keep it real for you. And honestly, how many sellers go about getting the crystals they're selling to you online or in their shop? What they do is, and I know because I watch them in Tucson and I know a lot of them and stuff. And I want to tell you honestly what's up. You know, they'll say, I bought it direct from the miner or whatever. A lot of times the miner doesn't go to the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show or the other mineral shows. They'll send a go-between person, and that go-between person doesn't always know the exact mining location. Sometimes they do. Half the time they do, half the time they don't. All right. Even when they do, they don't always tell the truth. They tell the buyers what they want to hear, even if the buyer is buying in mass quantity. They know right now it's very in vogue, I guess you'd say, to say that it was sustainably harvested and mined. And yes, this is real and it's natural. And no, we didn't bake it. They know what to say. They're educating themselves. So the big crystal buyers go there and they buy, and they might not know the seller very well or have a long relationship with them. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So they're going with what they're being told. All right. And then we're going with what we're being told. And then we're parroting that out to other people. So you 100% don't know. And I feel like it's better to rely on my knowledge, my geo knowledge, than to rely on what someone's telling me. Unless I mined it myself out of the earth, how can I know? Okay, Congo citrines, on the other hand, have a lot of unique characteristics to them. So they're a lot easier to identify and know that they haven't been baked. With Brazil citrine, it's harder to figure that out. I mean, Okay, here we go. I bought this from a knowledgeable, well-liked seller who I trust. And I do believe it's a natural Brazil citrine, but I can't know. And there aren't really characteristics to help me pick that out. Okay. You'll notice that the color in a Congo is a little bit more on the orange yellow side than the Brazil citrine, and which is very light yellow. Okay. Sometimes the color in a Congo is a bit darker, and some might even call it smoky. All right. But what makes it citrine is that it does have a yellow undertone. And if you take it in the sunlight, that's even more apparent. That's the best way to look at them, is under natural light. So if you see that yellow undertone, that's citrine. Congos have the babies, the abundance crystals on the bottom of them, and more intense energy in the way that it was naturally baked in Mama Earth. Okay, now I know a lot of you were asking about the different metaphysical properties between the smoky Congos and the light colored Congos. I find that I work with all of them the same. A lot of that is personal to you and very individual. So, as always, I teach you need to work with the crystals yourself. Don't just go with what I'm telling you or a book is telling you. You need to do the work. Get the crystals and meditate with them and see what comes up for you. I do feel like all the Congo citrines have a very similar energy. Okay, there might be some slight differences from one hue to another in the intensity of the color. Congos in general have a more intense energy than Brazil citrines in the way that it was formed, naturally formed in the earth, more intensity. Okay. So we talked about the little babies around the base. They grow parallel to the parent crystal in the center. Okay, we call that an abundance crystal or a cathedral library. Isn't that gorgeous? Some people call it an artichoke formation. Those are the geologists, really, or a manifestation crystal. Okay, so they're not easy to find, even at your gem shows, and they're not cheap. Okay, so if it's baked, is it still Citrine-Energy? I used to think, yeah, it's just less intense, but it's still citrine. And that was true at the time. Okay. But I've since changed my stance on that. And if you've been following me a while, last year I went off kind of like on a little tangent on that. I've noticed, especially since last year, that the baked variety of citrine seems to have completely shut down with respect to its power. Now, this might not be true for you personally. And like I said, this is all individual, okay? I feel now that, and this is completely different from what I said in my old videos in the past, all right? That heat treating or enhancing a crystal it dampens its frequency and its effectiveness to completely, it just incapacitates it, like shuts down its power. Okay. And, this is due to not that it didn't used to work. It certainly did on a lower frequency, less power. But there's been recent cosmic shifts that are the reason for this. All right. We're getting more cosmic energy to our planet than we have in any of our lifetimes right now. Baked citrine used to work effectively, just like I said, on a lower level of energy, but it no longer does. I feel. All right. And this is most likely due, like I said, to those cosmic shifts. I talked about that at length in last year's blog post. It's called Are Crystal Meanings Reliable? So if you want to see that blog post, I think I linked it in the blog post that's in the description here. Or you can Google it, Hibiscus Moon, Are Crystal Meanings Reliable? Plus, we can see that the crystals impacted on a molecular level. And I used to think that baking the citrine didn't technically change the molecules, but I was wrong about that. It does weaken those bonds because they become so much more fragile. We can physically see that. So it does change on a certain level. All right. So these massive energy shifts impact not just our planet, but our entire solar system. I'm sure you've heard plenty of people bring up the topic of climate change, but climate change is not just here on Earth. It's happening on a number of other planets. In fact, all the planets in our solar system. The energy changing our solar system is impacting or we could say evolving the energetics of our solar system and our Earth, which means that Earth's crystal beds are being impacted as well. What do you think about that? All right. We're going to do Q&A at the end. I see a bunch of questions and stuff, and I love that you guys are interacting and talking so much stuff. All right, so my personal preference, I prefer not to work with baked amethyst variety of citrine. I'm sure you've already figured that out, but that's a personal choice. You have to test it out and see for yourself. You do you. Don't do what the book tells you to do. I prefer to stay away from man-made or altered crystals as much as possible. It's not always possible. It's not always practical. It's not always affordable, but I try to. And I just want people to know out there that most of the citrine out there is baked amethyst. That's what I want you guys to carry forward and have this ripple out so everybody knows it's not always possible or practical to always work with all the natural stuff, but that's my personal preference, okay? So I just want you guys to be clear that it's not actual real citrine when you're looking at this. Some sellers have been really, really great about telling people up front that's what they have for sale. But more often than not, it's just listed as citrine, and it's don't ask, don't tell kind of a deal, right? But I do feel that your intuition should always be your first guide. If a stone or a crystal works for you for a particular purpose, then don't let anyone or anything or any book that you, or anything that you heard or you heard on a Facebook group change that for you. Okay. For certain people, certain stones work really, really well, while for others, they don't work at all, no matter what's said or taught or written about them. All right. So again, if you're watching this now, please click in the link in the description below. If you're watching this in the replay, that's going to take you to the accompanying blog post for all the resources I talked about, the links, the handy dandy checklist download, the descriptive photos. I really want you to see that before and after of the baked amethyst. And if you like this topic and you are worried about, is this a real deal crystal or is this just a fake? I talk about a lot more than just citrine. It's actually a 3-part workshop. And that's, me guiding you in the geology on becoming more crystal savvy. So if you want to find that class, just go to hibiscusmoon.com, go to learn, and then crystal classes, and you'll find it. Okay, so let's do some Q&A. My coaster keeps sticking to my bottle. Sorry about that. Oh, I wanted to show you guys this. Every month we do a big donation to different charities, and I should have saved the envelope because it was so cool. It was stamped with these paw print stamps, and this is the Octagon Wildlife Sanctuary. This is like one of those photos they took. Okay, so the Octagon Wildlife Sanctuary is a sanctuary where they take animals that can no longer live in a zoo for some reason, or people have exotic animals living on their properties and they were confiscated, and like, where do they go now? So this sanctuary takes care of all those animals. So they have a big place in my heart, and we did a big donation for them, and they made this handmade card and took a picture of one of their lions. Does it say who it is? I'm going to visit there in 2 weeks, guys. So maybe I'll do a live stream from there or something, because they invited us to come out there and see their animals and give a private tour. So I'm excited. And then they gave it like that painting kind of thing that they do to pictures, isn't he majestic? So I just wanted to show you that. I thought that was so cool. All right. So let's see. Now, someone's asking if you have a citrine point. Okay, if the point is shaped like this, straight on the sides, and has that classic quartz point look, it's probably, well, it's not going to be the kind of points that come out of the geodes, because those have a very tooth look quality to them. They have the point on the top, and then the base is like a diamond and white on the bottom. Okay. And if you go to that accompanying blog post in the description, you'll see the photos. So you can see the ones that I'm talking about that are baked amethyst, and then the real deal. Okay, Jeff Wilson saying, eBay has everything you want from China for sale. How reputable are these sites? Okay, glad you brought that up, Jeff. Be very careful when buying from eBay. All right, buy from the sellers with a lot of good ratings, but the ratings don't always mean that what they're selling is authentic, because a lot of people buy stuff from these sellers that are selling inauthentic misrepresentations, and they still get a lot of good ratings. Um, I love a lot of crystals from China. Unfortunately, a lot of sellers from China on eBay are selling a heck of a lot of fakes and misrepresentations. So I try to buy from people who come from the countries like from the Congo, or from, well, there aren't a lot of eBay sellers from the Congo, or from the US or from Brazil, and have a lot of good ratings, if you're going to go the eBay route. But the gem shows are really a wonderful resource for learning as well. Okay. So I think I answered a bunch of you with that question that Jeff asked. Thanks for asking that. Hey, Jonathan Go. He's one of my blue sapphires. Does baked citrine feel different? I feel a rush of energy when I hold my citrine. Is that an indication that is likely to be real citrine? Well, I can't say. It is an indication, but it doesn't mean that people don't also sometimes, if they're very sensitive to crystals, even get a rush from the baked citrine. So it's not necessarily the best indicator. I guess it depends if you are very sensitive to crystal energies or not. If you are, I would be way more careful and want to know more about the geology. If you aren't and you're energetically dense like me, I get nothing from these. And now, used to get a little, but now with the cosmic energetic shifts, not as much. Hey, Rebecca, there's another blue sapphire. Hey, Shannon. Oh my gosh, you guys are all here. Betsy says, go to Enter the Earth. Okay, Betsy, I've seen Enter the Earth. I always go to them in Tucson, Asheville, North Carolina. I didn't see them with natural citrine when I just recently saw them, but then again, they had a huge tent and maybe I didn't see it. Okay. Okay, Star's asking, of the Congo citrines, what are the differences between the different shades, champagne versus gold versus smoky gold versus dark brown with some gold? I think if you're asking about the energy, I did discuss that earlier, so you can rewind back during the replay. If you're just asking about the differences in colors, yeah, it can go anywhere from super light champagne all the way to really dark brown, but the commonality that they must all have is when in the sun, they all have a yellow hue. Okay. Hopefully that answered your question there. Okay. Sarah said, if your citrine point has rainbows and phantoms in them, can they still be baked? Yeah, absolutely they can be. You have to look at the other items that I gave you in the checklist there to see if it meets those criteria, but they can certainly have rainbows and phantoms, absolutely. Okay. Charity said, I am typically attuned to crystals and I get nothing from my natural citrine. Is there a different way to connect with it? Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's nothing happening there. Charity, something that I realized kind of recently is some of our crystals are shy in their personality and they need more time to open up to you. Sometimes we have to respectfully ask to work with the crystal too. So try doing both of those things and you should start to get something from the natural citrine, okay? And Jeff lives 2 hours from Asheville, North Carolina. How nice and convenient for you. You can go to Enter in the Earth and he bought some fluorite from there. Yeah, they had amazing fluorite there. Yes, yes. Okay, Mystic said, all mine have a yellow hue, so that's a good thing. Yes, it is. Okay, Francis asked, do the rainbows have a significance? Yes, they do. I have an old video on rainbows in quartz. And the rainbows are great for working on depression. For anybody suffering from depression or just needing a happy boost of energy, crystals with rainbows are really helpful for that. Hey, Jenny. Yes, I have totally noticed that. Some crystals take longer to open up to you. Yep, that is so true. Hi, Raja from India. Hello. Vaughn Eric said, do you have any videos on how to meditate with or sense a crystal's energy? I do. Go into YouTube and type hibiscus moon sensing energy or crystal energy and you'll find them. Yes. Oh, Charity has a different name here, so I'm not recognizing her from Blue Sapphire. Hello. Okay, so guys, I think that's everything. Let me see how we're doing on time. Okay, I'm going to end this live stream. I think I'm going to start up another one because I want to do my Tucson Gem Show haul. How does that sound? All right, if you're subscribed to my channel, you will get a notification for that. And maybe I'll take a 5-minute break and I'll come back with my Tucson Gem Show haul. Okay, guys, Stephanie saying yes. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you all in a little bit. All right, now let me see if I can figure out how to end the live. How do I do that? Oh, here it is right here. Okay. See you all soon. Bye. Crystal blessings.